Hey, what's up guys? I hope you guys are doing well and having a fabulous day. Well, I am doing a different style of video today. If you can see, I am in my pre-owned department and I want to do this quick video to let you guys know what we as a dealership check out for trade-in vehicles, and also what you guys need to be looking out for when you're considering buying a used vehicle from an individual or from a dealership. So if you guys are interested, don't go anywhere. Let's do this video. Stay tuned. Hey YouTube, this is Jorge, your sales consultant over at Tomball Ford. I wanted to cut into this video because after recording the video, I noticed that it was very detail oriented. It's got a lot of really good information, so I decided to make the video into two parts. This is the first part that you're watching, and I will leave a link to the video number 2, part 2, in the description and also in the cards up top. So make sure you watch this video first and then head over and watch part 2 because it is very informative. I talk about visual inspection, listening and checking out what you need to be looking for on a test drive, and documentation that you need to make sure that you request from your dealer or the person that you're buying the vehicle from. So check out part 1 and then immediately go over and check out part 2. What is going on YouTube? My name is Jorge Lopez and I am your sales consultant here at Tomball Ford. I hope you guys are doing well and having a fabulous day. Well, hey, thank you so much for tuning into my channel and checking out this video. If you find this informative, please give us some likes. Do not forget to share this video. And if you haven't done so already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to the channel to check out some more content like this. The upcoming video will be about the new 2019 Ford Ranger that is coming our way. And also we are heavily involved with the Ford Raptors. So if you guys are interested in learning a little bit more, subscribe now so that you don't miss those videos. Anyways, back on track. The reason why we're doing this video today is to showcase this truck. And we really don't showcase many vehicles that are in the pre-owned department, but I wanted to take some time today because I wanted to show you guys what we as a dealership look for when we are evaluating a trade-in, which in return can also help you guys when you are shopping for a used car or interested in looking at somebody else's used vehicle right now. So if you guys are interested, do not go anywhere. Stay tuned. Let's go ahead and chat about this F-150 that is pre-owned. And let me show you around because this one here is a cherry. This one here is, I was surprised in the condition that this vehicle was in, but it was perfect because it'll point out some things that you guys need to be aware of. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about this 2016 Ford F-150 Lariat package. All right, YouTube, welcome back to the channel. And remember, we are checking this 2016 F-150 Lariat. This happens to be a 501A package, which is the middle trim of the Lariat package. But the first thing that we as a dealership check for is for any paint defects. And remember, all of these things that I'm about to show you are what we as a dealership check, but also definitely helps you guys out when you are shopping for a vehicle as well. And these are some things that you can also check for when you are, you know, talking to an individual or talking to another dealership about a used car that you would be interested in. So one of the first things that we check is for paint, if this has been repainted. So usually we run our fingers right around these edges here, and you should feel a very smooth paint. If this has been repainted, usually what happens is that there's a tape line here where the paint goes to, and you can definitely feel, if you scratch it with your fingernails, you should definitely feel a crease around the edges there. So run your fingers all the way around the body lines of the vehicle to make sure that you don't feel any type of repaint anywhere on the vehicle, even in here as well. Now, a lot of the painters are excellent on disguising the paint line, so a paint meter can also help you determine if this panel or part of the vehicle has been repainted. Also look for dings and dents. Look around the lights as well. That's something that we do. Check out those lights. Make sure that they turn on. The fog lights as well. We test the fog lights too to make sure that those are operating properly.
around the vehicle. Also, you know, look on the side of the vehicle so that the reflection of the vehicle's sunlight would also help you determine if there's any type of dings or dents or anything that is really hard to see from a distance. But that reflection can help you determine if there is any dings or any imperfections on the paint coming from the side. So right now I do not see any dings. I do see a lot of scratches and stuff, but I do not see any dings whatsoever. Another thing that you guys have to definitely do is look at the vehicle during the daylight. During the daylight, make sure that it is not wet. Make sure that it is not raining when you're looking at a car, because that rain, that water will hide any imperfections on the paint, or might hide any of the small dings and dents that you can't really see. During the daylight, wow, you can see every imperfection on the vehicle. And that's why when you're shopping for a vehicle, you need to make sure that you're doing it during the daylight. Another thing that you guys need to look at, obviously, is your tires. Now, if you can see right here, these tires are not worn evenly. You can see that that's kind of bald right there. So that tells you that there's an alignment problem with this vehicle. And then also, this one really doesn't need tires just yet, but do you guys see those marks? I don't know if my cell phone, my camera can focus in, but there's one there. There's another one right there. So all of these marks right in between the tread of the vehicle, if you see those marks kind of leveled with the tread of the tire, you guys need to check and change your tires. Same thing over here. That's bald. So these tires, we cannot sell this truck with this type of tire. Doesn't need the tread, but that's pretty bad right there. Another thing that you guys need to look for is for mud. As you can see, this one here has a lot of it, but it's okay. I mean, it's a four-wheel drive, right? So you're expecting to see mud in some of these crevices, but for you to see mud in there, or in there, in these cross beams is not normal. So that tells you that this truck was heavily, or if you find that truck with that kind of a mud in there, that was heavily used off-road. This one, you really can't see mud throughout. That's clear. Those are clear. Clear as well. And clear. So, I mean, that's normal. That is okay. That is not a big deal. That's what these trucks are for, is to go off-road. But yeah, that's good to look for mud in weird places. This tire is in awesome shape, so you can see that this tire has recently been replaced. This one has not. All right, another obvious thing that we do as a dealership, and you should do as well, is open up the hood compartment and just give it a glance. And be careful, because a lot of the dealerships will clean this engine bay extremely well, but you still need to look to see if there's any type of imperfections or any type of tears or cuts along the engine. Make sure that you pop this open. Make sure that you see inside of the air filter to see if it's cleaned. Pull up the dipstick of the oil and see if this needs to be replaced. It has to be a clear oil, which this one is a little bit on the brown side, which is fine, but make sure that you check it. You don't want to see anything that is like a dark brown. Anything that is clear, you want to go ahead and consider it to be good. Do the same thing. Do the same thing on the engine, on the transmission oil, on the radiator fluid, on the washer fluid, on the brake fluid as well. So make sure that you spend time in here just to look over the basic stuff. And yes, this is all basic stuff that we check, but you'd be surprised the many times that we get trade-ins where this is not even done. They've never done a maintenance to the truck. And obviously those are vehicles that you want to stay away from. So make sure that you always check underneath the hood. Also, another thing that you guys need to check on is the tailgate in this case, or your trunk. the inside of the vehicle's trunk to make sure that your equipment to change your spare tire is there. But in this case, we want to make sure that tailgate deploys, which it does, like it's supposed to. But look at this right here. The button to release the tailgate step is broken. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's broken. So that's something that we as a dealership need to replace, repair. This is really hard to pull up, but the whole step is right there. So make sure you check things like that, because you'd be surprised. Many customers don't even check for this stuff. And we as a sales consultant, we make sure that we go over all of these things to make sure that we get you an good operatable car. Check your lights. In this case, you've got LED lights. You got your third brake light in the back here as well. This one has a sprayed-in bed liner, which is great because that'll protect the paint. And it looks like this guy used it maybe for construction or whatnot, so it's protecting the inside bed of the vehicle. So that's another thing that you guys need to check. Also, make sure that you guys turn on the vehicle with hue outside of the vehicle. The reason being is because you want to see if there's any exhaust fumes that come out of the vehicle. All right, so we're gonna do this test right now. Let's see if something comes out. Hopefully nothing does. When you're about to start the vehicle up, just tell your sales consultant to go inside of the truck or car, have him turn on the vehicle for you so that you can see if there's anything coming out of the tailpipe. And also tell your sales consultant to go ahead and rev it up a little bit. You wanna see if there's any black smoke coming out of the tailpipe. So that's another thing that we check for when we are doing a trade-in, to see if there's any black smoke, especially on a diesel. If you are considering a diesel engine, that is very important right there. So that's another thing that you guys can check for before you even have a seat on the driver's side. Now, the inside part of the vehicle, okay? So all of that stuff was just outside, things that you guys need to check for on the outside. On the inside part of the vehicle, check for squeaks. You know, this door right here, if you can hear that, that's pretty squeaky. That means that there's moisture on there. There's no lubrication in between the hinges on there. But again, this guy used it off-road, or he lived in a caliche road. It is very, very dirty. So this is a very heavy detail shampoo of the carpet that we would have to do. I see that he also had pets. There's pet hairs around this vehicle. So this is pretty dirty on the inside. Now, when you're trading in a vehicle and it looks like this, you will be deducted some valuation, because it just tells us that you guys did not, or whoever the owner of this vehicle is, did not take care of the truck like he should. It's just a complete mess. But anyways, we're talking about what to look for on a vehicle. The other thing that you need to look for is for any rips, especially on the headliner. The headliner tells you a lot. In my opinion, if this headliner is clean, then the truck was maintained and the customer took care of it. This headliner is not as clean. I mean, I can definitely see a lot of smudges and grease marks on the headliner. So that definitely coincides with what I see on the carpet and what I see around the vehicle. So when you start your engine, make sure that there's no check engine light. Confirm the mileage. This one has 51,000 miles on it. Make sure that there's no other warning lights lit on the vehicle as well. You can also look to see what kind of fuel efficiency this guy was getting. So he was getting about 17 miles per gallon, which is not terribly bad out of a F-150 that's a four-wheel drive. This one happens to be the EcoBoost engine as well. Make sure that all of the controls on the dash are working properly. Make sure that all of these buttons are responding to your touch, because if the screen is bad, this is a few $1,000s to replace. It is very, very expensive. Test out all the controls on the AC, your fan speed, your temperature, your climate control seats. Make sure that those turn on as well. Make sure that your four-wheel drive is working properly as well, if you're considering a four-wheel drive vehicle. And all of the other buttons that you see, make sure that you test each and every single one of them, even the 110, the car charger. So make sure that you take the cables necessary to test this. If you're considering a new vehicle, your hazard lights, your traction control lights, make sure that that comes on the screen as well. If it does and there's no fault on there as well, the hill descent feature, there it is, there's no fault on that either as well. So those are a couple of things that, even though you might think, man, this is so obvious that we check, you'd be very surprised. Customers don't check this, you know, and we as a sales consultant, we need to make sure that if we are selling a pre-owned vehicle, that we make sure that we tell the customer what to check for. Up here, you've got all of your lights for your interior lights, your shade, open and close button. This one is working properly as well. This one does have the twin panel moonroof, so that's great. This one does have the open button right here. So we need a test to make sure that that opens up all the way, and it does. That's great. For a change, we've got some sun. We've had a lot of rain in the past few days, so we're happy that we've got sunlight now. So let's go ahead and close this thing back up. All right, let's go ahead and have a seat on the second row. If the vehicle that you're considering has rear AC, make sure that you feel to see if that is working properly. Again, you've got another 110, you got a car charger. Remember, you're bringing your cables with you to make sure that that is working properly. Make sure that you've got your equipment to change your spare tire. This one here was removed from its original spot. So now I'm curious to know if the jack was there. Let's go over to the other side and see if it's there. All right, so make sure that you know where your jack is at. If not, tell your sales consultant, ask your sales consultant to see where it's at. On the F-150s is right back over here. And imagine that, it is missing. So the jack is not where it's supposed to be, back in the back, and I don't see it anywhere, so the jack is missing. So I'm telling you, check for these things. So now, if the vehicle that you're considering is something that you still are interested in, you have to do a test drive. There has been many customers that said, you know what, I trust you, you are a car dealership, we know you've done your due diligence and make sure that the car is working properly, which, you know, we're grateful for that trust, but you never need to trust anybody, okay? So I always encourage customers to do a test drive. If they don't want to do it, we don't work numbers. I don't work numbers. I would not feel confident enough to purchase something if I haven't had the chance to test drive it. So you make sure that you test drive any and every vehicle that you guys are considering. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take this one for on the road, and I'll tell you a couple of things that you guys can check for during the test drive. All right, guys, there you have it. This is buying or trading a used car part 1. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. If you found this video informative, hit the like button, smash that subscribe button right now, and I'm hopeful that these are good tips for you to look out for when you are buying your next vehicle, and hopefully also tells you what we as a dealership look for when you are trading in your next car. So thank you so much for watching. Head over to part 2 right now.